How should you be planning your summons over the next short-term future? I'm talking the next 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 8 weeks, 2 months, that kind of period. That is going to be the focus of this video. We will discuss explicitly, should you summon on the Malvira banner? We've got Malvira joining the game tomorrow. She is phenomenal, has a case to be the best tank in the game, like more than a Swiss Army knife. She can do so many different things. And then we've got Sadie, who's kind of a fart on this banner. She's not like the worst legendary in the game, but she leaves a lot to be desired. We'll discuss her a little bit, but I wanted to zoom out and go big picture and talk about what I think might be coming and how you should in general, like for any, like, you know, it could be in the future, but for any time you've got like 4 to 8 weeks to plan ahead, which is how I view the game, how you should plan out your summons and what you should evaluate and think about, right? So let's kick it off with this banner in context of what could be coming. I don't know of any other new legendary heroes in the pipeline. In no way does that mean none are in the pipeline. Certainly, I'm sure some are. However, we knew about Malvira already from the test server nearly 3 weeks ago, and we also knew about Lynx from leaks way longer than that, and then from the test server also like 3 weeks ago. So they didn't really come out of nowhere. So there's like no chance there's going to be some new OP legendary in the next 2 weeks. It is not going to happen. What could be a new OP legendary would be the limited banner. And this has kind of been the direction the game has been pushed, especially if you want to min-max, especially if you're low budget, low spender, or free to play. It's about tailoring your plans, your future summoning strategies, all of that kind of stuff around when limited banners are coming, making sure you're ready and making sure you're guaranteed at least that 200 summon copy. Because limited heroes have always been good. These limited 200 guaranteed exclusive heroes have always been strong. They kicked it off with Reeve back in, I believe, very beginning of September or end of August 2023. And I mean, Reeve to this day is still a real rock star if I can ever frickin' find him here. Where are you, Reeve? There you are, hiding in the corner. He's still phenomenal in the game, right? But especially lately, they've revved it up, because we had a couple stinkers or stinker-adjacent heroes. Fasti is not bad, but she's certainly not exciting. Gwendolyn is very niche, and the content with which she can fill her niche isn't really in the game yet. Then we had Lust, who was amazing. We had Dahlia, who's really grown with the game. Honora's really grown with the game. But then we've had this run lately of Kagiri, Sun Wukong, Diao Chan. 3 of not just the most meta and strongest heroes in the game, but 3 of the most like end game designed around the content that you are focusing, that you are looking ahead to, that you really do need to push. So it could be possible then we crash back down to earth with the next limited, but by my pacing, by my tracking of the rate these limited banners come, I would think in 4 to 5 weeks, we will get a limited banner. I would think at the soonest it'd be in 3 weeks, and at the latest it'd be in 5 weeks. But realistically, I think it'll be 4 to 5 weeks from now, somewhere towards the beginning to the middle of April. And probably it's going to be awesome, right? Like, I think it's probably just going to be an awesome banner. So that doesn't mean you shouldn't summon on other banners, because it's been proven time and again, you got to get really lucky to get more than 1 copy. But to get 1 copy, you don't need much, right? Around all those things, there's always a big event. There's always a ton of summons to get for free. I mean, even now with this 4-leaf clover event, looks like between diamonds and summons, just for your rare summons, and that's what you need for a limited banner, there's at least 80 on the table, like extra on top of other stuff. So, I mean, I'd say from now to this point next week, most people will stock up at least 100 summons worth of diamonds and rare summoning crystals. So put that in perspective. So I hear a lot of people saying like, she's amazing, but is she like game changing when it comes to Malvira? First off, yes, she is game changing. Yes, she is that good, but she doesn't need to be game breaking Wukong to be worthy of a summon. She's unique. She does many things in a unique way and in a powerful way. That makes her super, super summon worthy for, I'd say, at least 80, if not 90% of the player base. You can still be completely prepared for the next Diao Chan, Kagiri, Wukong, and go hard on this banner. You could use every single piece of summoning currency on this banner for Malvira, and I'm probably going to do that unless I get lucky. I'm almost certainly going to do that because I haven't been that lucky lately, certainly on my main account. And you could do everything. You could be exhausted of all your resources, 0 diamonds, 0 rare summons, right? You could go over here and there's just nothing to use, and you'll be fine by the time the next limited banner comes to get the guaranteed copy. Now, if you want to like really go after it and try to get multiple copies, be my guest. And you could get 2 copies in 50 pulls, right? You could get 2 copies in 2 pulls. Or you could be what seems to happen for most people. It takes hundreds and hundreds of pulls. It took me almost 1,300 pulls. I have to go back, but it took me over 100,000 diamonds to get A1 Diao Chan. I got 13 legendaries before I got my second copy of Diao Chan. Now, I'm not saying you're going to have that kind of luck, but we've seen it enough. So when it comes to planning, let's bring this back home and how to plan your summons. Always make sure when considering events and everything else that if a limited was announced the next weekend, you'd be ready to hit it. Never overextend yourself, right? I will say there's no shot we're getting a limited next weekend. There's no shot of that, right? So now you know you've got 2 weeks to work with, but always be making that consideration. So what does that look like? Well, you can use the calculator on my website that does a continuous rebate. You know, you summon, you get rares, you sell them for diamonds, you rinse and repeat. It does not take 200 summons to have 200 summons. It takes like 171 summons on average, and then you get rares and sell them for diamonds and rinse and repeat. Once you fold in weekly rewards that everyone will get every Monday, daily rewards, the cheaper summons that show up in the shop, and then when there's a limited banner, all the extra events and login rewards and free things they throw at us, the number's like 100. As long as you always have 100 summons lying around on your account, if you want to be a little less conservative about it, more liberal with it, it's probably more like 60 or 70 that like is, and you know, because these banners always last till Tuesday. So you're going to be in good shape. So let's get into Malvira. Let's get into Sadie, really the good and the bad pretty quickly. But then when I wrap it up, I want to bring it home with this kind of full picture view, because when you get a banner like this, you know, it reminds me of around this time last year when Artemis's banner came, and he wasn't as powerful as her, but he was game changing. He was bringing stuff no one had, and he's aged extremely well. Can you beat the whole game without him? Sure. Can you beat the whole game without Malvira? Sure. Could you beat the whole game easily without Sun Wukong? Of course. I did it. Most people did it. Anyone that was endgame had already done it. That doesn't mean Sun Wukong wasn't worthy, right? New content can always be added. Imagine if they add the monthly tower they've discussed, and there's these kind of roguelite elements. You are going to want heroes that can do a million different things. If you go to my first breakdown of her, and then my guide of her, I broke it down. There's 14 unique things she's able to do. She is an amazing DPS. She's an amazing tank. She's got cool crowd control. It goes on and on. She synergistically operates beautifully within both factions, which is unfortunately rare in Watcher of Realms. You know, the list goes on. Go check out my 2 videos. I put a lot of work into them. I really talk about Malvira. In this, I'm just talking big picture kind of stuff. When a hero like this shows up, like Beelzebub, like Malvira, these normal heroes, but game-changing heroes, they truly do change the game. They may not be changing the game for you right now if you're endgame, but almost without a doubt they will moving forward, right? The bigger thing is, if you're not endgame, if you got her on a day 50 account, a day 100 account, you're still working through your gear raids and your gear dungeons, she's good at everything. Like, she's good in all, like, if you had her and Beelzebub, you would just run the table of the whole game, right? She's just phenomenal, and she forecasts to grow so well with the game. I'll have her up on the website this weekend with full ratings. She's going to be borderline double S. That's a new thing I'm adding, where 5 normal heroes, non-legendary heroes, and 5 legendaries will get triple S. That's what we have now, but another 5 of each, so 10 total, will get double S. Just like a special star next to their name kind of situation. She's borderline. It's hard to give that to a tank, in my opinion. You guys might have seen I didn't even give Cyrus triple S for Legendary Lords, which I know some people are upset about. I had him ranked 6th. That might be her. She might come in at like 11 or 12, but she's sincerely a top 15 normal Legendary in this game. Definitive S+. So when you have an opportunity to get one of those, you go ahead and get it. So who shouldn't be going for her? I would say people that are extremely endgame and free to play and obsessed with limited banners, or like low spender or free to play. So what am I saying? You're holding out for a Kagiri rerun, which is what if I didn't get tons of diamonds, I'd probably be holding everything for a Kagiri rerun, because I do hope, at least, I don't know if I want to say I think, but I hope that will come in the next 3 months, right? So that's probably what I would be doing. A3 Kagiri might be the most powerful awakening in the game outside of Lords. Just changes the whole character. He becomes like on par with Wukong all of a sudden, right? In terms of DPS, instead of just being a decent DPS and fine utility, right? So if you're that kind of player and you're like, yeah, I just care about boss content, unless there's, some kind of new juiced up conqueror kind of thing, she's not going to be a boss content kind of hero. So then, yeah, like it's like you wait for that next. Kagiri's the example I'm going to use. You wait for Kagiri because you want to pick up some dupes, right? And you want a lot because you probably need at least hundreds, if not 1,000 or 2,000 summons to try to get 1 or 2 or 3 dupes for Kagiri, something like that. So if that's your situation, I think that is reasonable. I don't see any other situation that's reasonable. I'm trying to rack my head if there's anything I'm missing. Because there's nothing specific on the horizon, I just don't know why else you wouldn't pull. The only other thing I could think of is Eluin, because Eluin is like, you just get that one Eluin and the whole game changes, but Eluin just had a rate up. Like literally just last week had a rate up. So I don't know what they could possibly add besides an OP limited who you're going to be guaranteed to get in 200 that could be coming in the next month that will be better than this. I don't think it's possible unless they just have it hidden everything and then they drop it on us like the craziest bomb ever, which would be fun and scary and strange. But yeah, I think we can bet against that. And that's kind of what I'm saying. I'm not saying everyone needs to go ballistic on this banner and unload everything like I'm going to do, but you don't really get a stronger normal banner in this kind of period. Like there's just not like, I don't know who else you'd be looking for. The other thing would be if you're very early on and you're on a very tight budget or free to play and you're just kind of getting out of that early game, mid game, but you have a full Pokédex, so you don't feel like you need a tank. That would be another kind of person who could skip this. She is a lot more than a tank. Like she's defender class. She functions as a tank, but she can do a lot more. But that being said, like if you need Silas, wait for the Silas banner. If you need Hot Sit, maybe do that. Like I hear that for sure. If you picked up a Lust, but you've never pulled Arrogance, like that could be something worth waiting for. Evaluate it based on your progress. But believe me when I say she's about as good a new normal meaning, non-lord, non-ancient exclusive, non-limited hero we could possibly imagine at this point in the game. Like if she came out this time last year, the whole world would be exploding in the Watcher community to have someone of this power and this uniqueness and this versatility. So you can tell I'm very high on this character. We are doing a big pulls party for her tomorrow. So if you made it to this point in the video, in the description and the top pinned comment, I'll have the link to that pulls party. At the time of filming this, it's in exactly 12 hours, likely, but the time this goes up, it will be in like 10 and a half hours, something like that. I still got to edit the video, but definitely participate if you want. It's looking to be a big one. I'm going to go nuts. She's like my favorite hero in the game. Okay, let's quickly talk about the epics. If you're brand new, this is a cannot miss banner. The chance to get, if you don't have A5 Idril yet, I was about to say Tariel. If you don't have Idril yet, A5, these are like free soul stones basically, right? So it's a strong banner because there's like a top 15 unit on it. Sadie's is kind of a fart, but then yeah, you've got Idril waiting for you here. So for new players, like if it's your first month or two and you don't have A5 Idril, this is such a must because you can save some soul stones, put those into Estrid or Deimos or whatever you're planning. Maybe you don't have A5 Dolores yet, something like that, right? From the other epics, Azoth is legitimately useless in this game. He has no place. I don't even think, I bet you some people don't even know he exists. Let me know if that's you. I bet you some people don't even know Azoth exists in this game. For him and Scorch are like the most forgotten pieces of crap in the whole game. Avalyn actually is really good for certain content. She's got 2 really nice factions, and she can be really, really good in the Tank Codex, Hellfire Emperor, and I believe she's part of the Micah Fusion still. So that's good, but you're not pulling for her. Sadie, you're definitely not pulling for. She gets a worse rep than she deserves. With this event, you'll be able to get her exclusive artifact, which definitely makes her a pretty good healer. Not a great healer, but without her exclusive artifact, she is a terrible healer. And she kind of only exists for these very strong reductions. Just everyone in range, though it is that weird Dolores range. Everyone gets these reductions at all times, which is nice. And then this delay damage can be really useful. However, useful in very specific ways, right? It's something you really outgrow. She's certainly not a late or end game hero, but who knows? Maybe they'll tinker with her. It's not like they've paired Malvira with Zealous or Cratch or something, right? Sadie's not useless, especially to a newer account, but she's not something to be excited about. Really think of her as like the penalty you're paying on your way to Malvira. Make the assessment for yourself, guys. I hope this helped. To zoom back out for a second, as you make these plans, right? you can't save forever unless you really want to. If you're here's another thing. If you're just satisfied with your account and you're like, what if they run Wukong for the anniversary and you have him A3 and you're thinking you can pick up 2 more copies, like, why not, right? Like, if that's what you want to do, or if you have him A1 and you want to get 4 more copies, like, do that. Like, if you feel like you don't need anything. But to me, I'm always looking for like unique things that could age well with the game. That's what I want to have on my roster to fill it out. Like heroes that could fill future roles and future content that I can envision, but yet I don't have those heroes yet. That's kind of what Malvira is to me as an endgame player. To an early, mid, late game player, she's just going to help you beat a bunch of stuff, right? But not to make it about Malvira, just to talk about this in general, when you're evaluating these new heroes, I do think that's the lens a lot of people should look through. And I gotta say, it infuriates me when people in the comments are like, she's not going to help me beat all this stuff that I already beat. I'm like, well, you already beat it, right? Everything in the game could be beaten. But since Kagiri, everything in the game has been beaten, right? Just because that's right when APOC 2 was getting going and stuff. But some people even were beating it before Kagiri, right? Like right before. But really since Kagiri, since September, I think it was September, so maybe it was October, I think Lust was September. Since October, the whole game has been beaten. Nothing new has come that we needed Wukong or we needed Diao Chan or we needed Lyra or any of these new guys that have come. So just have some perspective. It's like, well, more stuff's going to come and that's what you want to be ready for. And you could really, really see it. So in my opinion, at least. And for new players, fill out that Pokédex, do your thing. Guys, different kind of should you summons. Let me know if you liked it. Just went off the cuff with all the thoughts I've had lately about all these banners. Think about it. The next 4 to 6 weeks, there's going to be 1 limited tucked in, and there's probably going to be 2 banners you got to summon on. I mean, unless you want to, like I said, save till the summer and save all your summons, you got to summon every couple weeks. I don't see a better time to do it than now. You let me know if you agree or disagree. Thank you for watching. I've been Fastidious. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon. Bye.
Fastidious.